This looks good.
All right, hello, we're back again. I'm Alan. We're here at Wonderville. I'm here with Mark at Wonderville, and I am attempting to diagnose and then hopefully fix this Omnichord instrument that I got from the artist Soren Hughes. His handle is at Tall Soren. And right now I'm just picking all these screws out that I hastily threw into the battery compartment so I can more easily examine this whole thing without throwing all the parts all over the place and sending them down into the arcade bar, the arcade gallery.
You have to really paint the floor white or something.
Yeah. Paint the floor white and have magnetic strips under the whole thing. So stuff just falls.
Just the whole floor is a magnet.
Yeah. And it's like, oh wait, what about the CRTs now? All right, so recap here. And that's, recap is that I thought that this Omnichord had a problem with the DC jack. Then after I opened it up, I saw some janky jumper wires that I had hastily soldered into place at another prior time of tinkering with this that I completely forgot that I did. That was actually in Andre's basement at Phase Space in the fall of 2020, I guess. Or no, 2019. Yeah.
2020 we're just writing off. That didn't happen.
Yep, in the fall of 20... So I'm remembering back to the fall of 2019 when I last opened this up and messed with this power supply. What I did was I took them off now, but I had for some reason when I'm powering this through this DC jack here, it's not getting power to the board. It's not turning on. So what I did is I soldered wires to this thing from the DC jack here, and this goes into the battery case here, and so basically I was bypassing whatever happens here and just going through, sending power in through here. But I don't really understand what the big difference is, because if you look on this side of the board here, this is just connected to this little connector here, which is right after this. So the only thing that's happening, that's right here. So the only thing that's really happening is this weird capacitor, right?
So
what do you think?
Here's what I would do.
Yeah.
Take the multimeter and do a continuity check from this to the jack directly.
All right.
And make sure that they're, because I'm not convinced that those are directly connected.
Yeah.
And maybe that could be the issue.
All right, so you hear that multimeter continuity sound? All right, it's picked up by the mic. So what we're checking here is the continuity of this dangling battery pack thing. So you're concerned about the connection between the battery pack in here, or?
I would go from the positive of that to the positive of the jack.
Well, I'm not getting anything there. I mean, so it's connected here, but it's not connecting to the jack. But then why would I get power? It's so weird, because why would I get power if I, when I plug that in and it's connected through this, it works. But with, you know what I mean?
It might be a switched DC jack, which means that unless you plug something in, there's a physical switch that presses it against the circuit.
Yeah. Let's see.
That's typical in a lot of these.
Oh, really? So it's...
But you're not getting anything from...
the negative inside the jack. That's not great.
Let me take a look at that solder. I feel like...
It looks ugly.
Yeah,
I think I just need to clean it all up. Get it all out. I'm going to take the jack out.
Let's do a new jack, and we'll reflow this solder and see if that works.
So you have some wick, you said?
There's new wick next to the solder on the left-hand side, and there's a desoldering pump all the way on the right side of the workbench.
Solder on the left-hand side.
The very first spool is the wick.
Oh, yeah.
You can just snip some of that off. those are forceps. Snips out to the right. Yeah, you can use those two. And then there's a desoldering pump all the way to the right. If you want to try that too. That might still be wet, the sponge from a couple days ago.
This?
Maybe.
Slightly, yeah.
Maybe we'll get some more water. Luckily, we have a bar downstairs.
So now, whoops.
There's a lot of solder. Hey, Brian.
This is off. Yeah, that's not looking good. That's very like nasty right there. Maybe there's like burnt traces or something even.
There's a good, yeah. Yeah, so for those of us, we just got a bunch of new viewers. We are trying to replace this DC jack on the Omnichord because there's like this weird hum going on, and we think it's power related.
Yeah, to me it looks like, I don't know if you can see this, but I'm just kind of jiggling the...
Here, I can just pull it.
Yeah, nice. But if you see, like, the whole pad there is...
pretty nasty.
Well, it's like the whole pad's nasty, and then it's like the pad is moving. I'm, like, seeing movement here where I don't want to.
Oh, I see.
You know what I mean? That movement. You don't want movement.
If you like watching desoldering, the last video we did is about 2 hours of desoldering on a Switch Pro controller. That was a nightmare. Like little thumbsticks like that have 3 pins for each axis, right? Because they're both potentiometers for X and Y. And then there's 4 pins for the momentary button. And then there's 4 pins that are just like anchor points. So there was like, what was that, 8, 9, 10, 11, 14 pins altogether to desolder. It was a nightmare. Do you want a drink, by the way?
Sure.
Bring one up. Do you want a beer or a not beer?
Oh, I'll have beer. Thanks. Alright. Yeah, that doesn't look too good to me. I think... Yeah, I guess... Ugh. More Omnichord. Yeah, I'm fixing an Omnichord. But it's just it looks like, to me it looks like the whole pad here is coming off from the power supply. So, you know, I'm gonna have to ask Mark for some advice about. I also see this little. I don't know if you can see this, but let me see if it's visible there. So like this. Let's see, there's a little bit of glare here, but there's like a tiny little strip here that's like going between the plus and the minus, and I don't know if that was shorting the power supply or something before. Yeah, it doesn't look good. Not great.
So my Twitch see.
Oh, thanks.
I don't like that kind of stuff.
What's that?
Twitch doesn't like alcohol on the stream.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a thing.
So, see this? I just can't tell if... Why is... Oh my god. This isn't looking good, Mark.
You losing the pads?
I think that I am here. I mean, look at that. I mean, I think I lost the pad. See that?
Well, okay, that's fine. Just get that jack out, and then we'll figure it out. Because, honestly, those traces are so thick, we could just wire it directly to the next thing.
Yeah. I think I need to get my solder out of there. Oops.
Just gonna...
Oh, is this connect? This might be my issue here. Yeah, that's it. I didn't realize that there was a third.
Oh yeah, that's three pins.
Yeah.
I'll buy some 15-foot USB extensions.
Nice. Great. Uh-oh. That's not good.
Oh man. Here, this paper towel is over here. I don't know why this is happening with all the capacitors. Gonna lift that up.
Good. Back to that in a minute. Alright, so now we have this nasty looking area of just like roady pad destruction.
Can you get that jack out of there?
Yeah.
Oh, it's out.
It's out.
Let's just here. I can't even open this because there's so many goddamn DC jacks in here.
Oh, cool. Now the thing that I wanted to check too, though, is that we might need to replace the tip on this power supply as well, because just because the diameter of the pin.
Oh. Let's see. Will that fit into that spot?
Oh, you know what's funny is that the third thing on here. Look at this. Is that the same? No, it's the same. Exactly the same. So why is this? That's a little confusing.
Because it's upside down.
Oh, that's right. You're right. This one. Okay. I just want to see if this fits. This. Oh, yeah, it seems like it fits perfectly as long as it's actually touching.
Yeah. I mean,
it looks the same.
The cool thing about DC jacks is they're all pretty much the same.
This is exactly the same. So, but before I do that, though, do you think that there's, like, I just want to look here. There's so much glare that I'm trying to see. Yeah, this pad is coming off here, this back one. Is there something that, I wonder if there's a place where I can just test the continuity there.
Here, so here's what I would say, right?
Yeah.
I'm just going to point. This pad is coming off.
Yep.
But this is attached to what? That. Is it attached to this? I can't tell.
Which, if it's like this one or this one?
Well,
Are these together?
Can you? I don't think these are touching. Otherwise, there wouldn't be a separation here.
Yeah.
Here, I think. Can you touch this pin right here?
This one?
Yep.
Oh, it might be covered in paste. Okay.
So we could run a wire from this leg of this jack to this pin.
Okay.
And just bypass this whole trace. And that way, you touch here. You know what that is? That's the fucking this. This is connected to one side. This is nothing.
Yeah.
So this is one side of the battery. This is the other side,
Okay, that's that side.
and that's the other side.
But we're
These
not
are
getting
just
there.
going directly to here. We could run wires from these two pins to these two.
That's what I did.
Yeah.
That's how it was.
So, I mean,
Because for some reason that was powering it, like to just run it off of this. Because I guess there's no difference there, right?
there's no difference. I was worried it was going to run through a regulator or something or whatever, but it's not. So
Yeah.
we could just run wires straight through, and that should be fine.
All right, so I'm replacing the jack anyway, and this part's a little tricky because I have to somehow keep this like in place while delicately in place while I solder it. Any cool electronics tips for that? How to keep this where I need it to be.
I would just solder that pin closest to the edge, just so you have a little bit of leverage.
So
There's it's like a little.
oh wait, it's delicately holding itself there right now, so I'm just gonna go for it.
Yeah.
Nice, Mark. The helping hands. All right.
Cool.
Should be on there now. I have to like open up one of the past stream videos to remember where this capacitor was. But is there any reason why that capacitor would need to be there? You know?
It's noise filter. But generally speaking, the positive is going to go to the positive of the jack, and the negative goes to the negative side of the jack.
Do you think that could have been what was introducing issues, or probably not?
I can give you a new 1,000 microfarad capacitor.
Yeah.
Let me see the specs on that. Thousand microfarads, 25 volts. Let's see what I got here.
Oh.
You need a gigantic capacitor.
Oh, thank you.
That's too big.
Yeah, and it would be annoying to get the.
Yeah. I was just showing that to you because that's the biggest capacitor I have.
That's fine. This is too big. This is just right.
470. 1,000 microfarads, 16 volts. I don't actually have.
I mean, why would it need to be 25 volts if it's a 12 volt thing?
Excellent question.
So 16 is probably good.
There you go.
I like the form factor of this one too.
This is the one you're right. It's a
Yeah.
gigantic one.
Now, how do I know which is? I guess I can figure out it's center negative, so whichever pin here is touching the negative.
The center is usually the furthest back. So I think it's that. The other one.
I don't know, why am I getting nothing?
We'll try.
See, I think there's something shorting it or something, because that was like.
I think this pad isn't connected anymore.
This
So,
one?
like, yeah. So, here's what I might.
So this is plus.
That's plus. And then.
And why am I getting it? See? Okay.
So this.
Minus. Oh,
So here, I think this is supposed to be your minus, but it's just not connected.
yeah.
So touch that to the ear with the multimeter. Nothing.
Nothing.
So here's what I would do. I would attach a wire from this pin
Mm-hmm.
to this,
Okay.
just to bridge that connection. And there's just cut yourself a little bit of wire. Because your positive lead is fine. You don't have to like run another wire for that. What's this? 12-volt bulbs? How do we have this? I need to do a purge, man. Someone come to Wonderville and take all this shit. Take it for free.
Okay, so just remembering which is going to which here. From my negative to here.
The back one, right? The one furthest away is negative.
Yep. And this is plus. Well, it doesn't seem to want to keep. Why is this giving me issues?
I don't think this pad here
The front one
is anything.
Yeah, it's just the mounting pad.
Yeah.
All right, so going from that back pad, but if that pad isn't touching anything, oh, because it'll still touch the it will be connecting to the power jack that is physically connected to the DC jack. All right, this is always tricky with two hands. We're just going to add solder to this pin. Maybe I'll add some to this wire. Starting. Do you have any tips for adding tiny jumper wires without? I'm just like gonna get a glob of this on here and not drop it on the board.
Yeah, and also the fiberglass doesn't really like stick to it, so I think you're good.
Alright, let's get this ready. And then I am adding it to here. Ouch. Alright, now
I would also like. There you go. I would put this maybe across those two pins, but like make these.
wait, put it across the negative?
No, the positive and the negative.
Like so like just across these two
Yeah.
instead of over here.
Yeah, and I wonder if you can cut those really short, so like there's no chance you're gonna short them. But the negative goes to the negative, and the positive goes to the positive.
So what is that doing in this? You're saying it's noise filtering?
Yeah, so
The
a large capacitor. This sort of is how like low pass and high pass filters work. But a large capacitor basically is a low pass filter, so you're going to eliminate any sort of like high frequency humming. And sometimes you'll also see a very small capacitor as well, which does the opposite. So like one is filtering out high frequency noise, the other is filtering out low frequency noise. You don't probably don't need it, but that's a good way to get rid of noise in your power supply.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's see. Well, we really need to get rid of noise on the Omnichord, so
Yeah, I
I'm
mean,
hoping it will help with that.
I always think about
Oops, lost my wire.
there's this drum pad called the SPDS, which was like a very popular electronic drum pad.
Yeah.
And I was starting to hear a lot of like high frequency noise.
Yeah.
And I was reading on forums, and they were like, "Oh, you can just, add all new caps." And so I went in, I ripped out every capacitor and replaced them all, and it worked. The noise went away.
Oh, that's really cool.
But the screen stopped working.
Oh.
So Whatever. I think there's something with like the voltage range of the capacitors that I didn't match up, and
Yeah.
that was what did it. But
This is going to be a little annoying here. I tried to preserve the long short leg thing, and that might have been a mistake.
yeah, you should cut them to the same length.
Because they have there's an indicator on the outside of it anyway. Where
Yeah.
It says that it's short.
And also, now that you're soldering it, no one's ever gonna know which one is which. So
It's true. Ugh.
also, like if those two pins are too hard to solder to, you could use the pins on the DC jack as well. It's like
Mhm.
and it's a little
Let's see.
maybe might be easier.
Yeah. I think it probably will be, but let's see if I can do it.
Actually, somebody said, "Do we have rubbing alcohol?" There's actually a bottle of rubbing alcohol and Q-tips directly to the right.
So I can clean this whole area off first.
Yeah, you
I
want to
like
do
that
that?
idea. Thank you for your suggestion out there and desire for tidiness.
Alan, I think you actually bought these Q-tips and rubbing alcohol to clean like NES cartridges.
Yeah, this is I remember grabbing this for the Super Chief show, and I had like all of those. Oh man, look at this. Now, almost what is coming off here? This is revealing some things.
Flux, maybe solder flux.
Oh, gross. Also, I last used this rubbing alcohol and Q-tip setup when someone spilled a beer, or maybe many people spilled many beers on Video Freak,
Mm.
and it was like when the bar was open, and I remember like I had the cabinet open, and I was like scrubbing down the circuit board of the color processor and Video Freak with a toothbrush without rubbing alcohol, and incredibly, it actually worked, and totally fixed it. I got all the sticky stuff off. But yeah, I think that. So you think? What do you think all this stuff is? I mean, I kind of wish I had gotten over here first.
I mean,
I
it
think
could
it's
be
a thermal paste.
It could be the thermal paste. It could be solder flux. I
Yeah.
think, especially on these old boards, like
Mhm.
a lot of solder flux gets applied. Especially if these are built with like more machine methods and less human methods.
Yeah.
Or who knows, like oxidation over the years.
Yeah.
It's. I've never opened an old circuit board that didn't have like crap like this all over it.
Yeah. I mean, it's like pretty. Maybe I should have a toothbrush.
Also, there might be like Scotch Brite by the bar.
Oh yeah.
Like a little Scotch Brite sponge. It's funny because I'm like, do I keep Scotch Brite by the electronics or do I keep it by the dishes?
Yeah.
No. Let me look in. I got a bin. Oh, there's Carl. Howdy.
Hey Carl. Cleaning up right now. Just trying to like get some crud out of this area that is the problem zone of this Omnichord. This is in fact just a reminder to people out there what this is. It's an Omnichord.
Hey, a toothbrush.
You got one?
It's in with all these consoles.
Oh, cool. Perfect. This looks like it could have even been the very toothbrush that I was talking about. Yeah, I was actually just thinking about that Super Chief show this morning because a friend of mine dug up like a photo from that like August 2018 show that we did at Super Chief Gallery.
Oh yeah.
where this guy Chris, who was like kind of running or curating like the gallery space there, part of the Super Chief crew. He had built this video installation in the back, like a giant. There was like a giant pile of TVs that he had assembled and put on a bunch of video distribution amps and stuff to keep it all like connected, and so people could like make immersive video environments there with this. It was very cool. But a friend of mine dug up a photo. Was like, "Can I use this for my like album artwork?" And I was like, "Well, that's actually a collaboration." So, because he like actually built the installation.
Yeah, that guy Chris was so awesome, and I don't want to like shit talk people, but I feel like out of everyone we worked with at Super Chief, he was the most like excited and who cared the most about that installation.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to see what he was up to because of this question about the image, but then I think he's no longer user deleted. That was his former like moniker, but I don't know what he's going by now.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're getting somewhere. It's looking slightly less roady and corrody.
I feel like there's like an ASMR channel of just like cleaning electronics.
Yeah. Probably. It's this one. Are we picking up some nice ASMR like toothbrush sounds here?
Yeah, I mean, we haven't mic'd this setup really well,
Yeah.
so I don't think the audio is as good as it could be, but
We need a piezo connected to the toothbrush. That's like the electronic version of like a washboard percussion. It's to just have a piezo toothbrush. Actually, do you know Adam Morosky?
No.
He's Time Ghost.
Time Ghost?
Yeah, he performs as Time Ghost. He kind of does like a modular synth thing, but he has a facial piercing in his cheek, and he inserts, I think it's like a photo cell that he puts into his mouth, and he like performs with a microphone that has a light on it. So it's almost like in Blue Velvet when he's like singing with the light bulb.
Oh,
But
cool.
it's yeah.
The first time I did the 24-hour drone, there was this guy who performed as Mr. Transylvania, and it was at like 4 in the morning, which was my favorite time of the drone because it was like people that were just so like there were no more sets, you know. So Mr. Transylvania just had piezos on his throat, and he was gargling water for like an hour for like his whole set. It was really amazing. Man, piezos are really the best thing. Like, I think somewhere up here I have a piezo attached to like a splash cymbal, or like I remember that in my high school band I would just have a piece of sheet metal with a piezo like duct taped to it, and just like hit it with a mallet.
That's cool. Now, to me, it seems like this whole board, just as an experiment, I'm going to grab a fresh Q-tip. I'm just seeing, like, it could be this thermal paste stuff, but I have a feeling that the entire thing is just covered in stuff, which makes me curious about, like, potential spill. Because if you see over here, this area is, like, so this is a clean Q-tip right now, and I'm just going to see what comes off. It's a little bit.
Go near the solder joints, though. I think
it's like, yeah.
I think it's flux meets oxidation, because like
Yeah.
After, like, you know, if you oxidize solder, like if you are bad at soldering and it turns brown, that's oxidation.
Yeah.
So I think inevitably over the years, all of these solder joints get a little bit of oxidation on them, and that's what
Yeah,
that.
see this? I don't know if you can see, but it's like pretty brown. I don't know. It doesn't look like it is on the. It doesn't look as bad on the camera. Should I just go through the whole thing with the toothbrush then?
I mean, I don't think you really need to, because it's not like the oxidation is bad. At least not at this point.
Well, I just don't know because the thing isn't working right. You know, it's very sticky over here. And then actually, now that I'm really looking at this, it's like it's all like these. This spot, this connection point over here is like all nasty too. You know, like it could be the same. I'm just gonna see if I can loosen all of this up. I'm just going to town now. Look at this.
Turn up your volume really loud.
Turn up your volume really loud.
Get that toothbrush sound.
Just, you know, like all of these pins down here. I don't know if you can see this, but this whole row that connects the this circuit board to the other one is like really nasty looking. Now that I'm looking at it more closely. Is there any like risk of drying stuff out with this and then making things even worse? Right?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Like the solder's not going to come off.
Yeah. So they don't just like have a spray gun that they hit this thing with, just like douse it and some sort of thermal ooze.
I mean, part of me wants to say WD-40 because it's like a anti-grease thing.
Yeah.
But I've not ever used it on things that aren't like moving, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know if it won't like penetrate solder joints.
No,
you know?
no. Although I think I killed a fan with WD-40. It was like the fan had gotten really like caked. It was a fan that I had since I was in 8th grade. And just over time, I think it got full of dirt and dust, and I never cleaned it or anything. And then eventually, it was like starting to show some signs of like it was like slowing down, and I would push the fan blades with a pencil to get it to start, like kickstart it, and then it just totally wouldn't work. And then I started spraying WD-40 in there, and then it just seized up the motor because I think that the WD-40 ended up like breaking down the bearing grease or something. I didn't realize what I was doing.
Yeah, I think things that need to be greased, you shouldn't put WD-40.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, Reed. Reed, are you back in the U.S.?
Reed, what's up? Nice. Reed, this is an Omnichord. This is an Omnichord that kind of works, but is not really working very well. Let's see here. And the main issue is that welcome back, Reed. So this Reed, this Omnichord, it had an issue where it was like feeding back. Like when I would turn down the volume, it would start to buzz and just like make like a square wave feedback thing happen. And so open it up. I then remembered that I had added some jumper wires to bypass like the power circuitry and go through so that the power supply was just going into the battery compartment instead. And that it wasn't the good kind of feedback. And then just decided to like take everything apart that I had added and add in a new DC jack, and then somebody suggested to clean up the all of this like sludge that was in the power supply area. There's still a little bit of sludge there, but I'm probably good on the sludge for now. I'm noticing though, like But now that I've like hit it with a lot of rubbing alcohol, there's like a haze that I'm seeing on there. Maybe it's like there's some remaining sludge that I've now buffed into a, you know what I mean?
Mm.
Like,
Yeah, I mean, I think, rubbing alcohol does tend to like evaporate quickly.
yeah,
But also, it's
Well,
like,
this.
on circuit boards like this, you have protection between the actual copper and the surface.
Yeah,
So,
there's like little Q-tip things. All right, well, as long as this stuff over here, I'm a little bit concerned about. There's this trace here that has a lot of really nasty stuff on top of it.
what's that jumper from?
Wait, this one?
The black one.
I have no idea what this is. This jumper was there. I did not add this jumper.
Pro Electronics
Yeah.
from, what? When was this made? The 60s? 50s?
80s. This is
80s.
probably I'm guessing 1987 or something, but I'm not sure.
Oh, yeah. What's the percentage on the alcohol?
70.
70%? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's probably good that it's diluted a little bit. Let's try soldering the capacitor and listen to how it sounds, because I'm curious to see if any of this helped.
Yeah. Now I have to remember which side is which.
The side furthest away is ground.
And that has the jump, and that has the and that has our jumper wire on it, I think.
Yeah.
All right, let's see if I can do this. I was having some hard. This little like solder or like sludge cleanup activity was helping me procrastinate from doing this thing where I was going to solder this capacitor on, and it's a really tricky little spot here that is maybe the jumper wire that I made was too long.
You could also just solder the jumper and put the capacitor across the DC jack.
I did do that. Oh, you mean across the DC jack? Yeah. Well, there. I might be able to do it this way. Put this on first, and then see if I can just stick the
put the wire there.
Yeah, just stick the wire on quickly. I just like that's. Too much power here.
So this is 1,000 microfarad 16-volt capacitor, and we're replacing 1,000 microfarad 25-volt capacitor, which I think is okay because you're using a 12-volt power supply, so I don't see why we would need. But I also wonder if like the old capacitor is maybe part of the reason why it's noisy, because they do go bad over time.
Yeah. All right. I can't really see what I did there. Let's see if we can see on the camera more clearly. Looks good. As long as I'm gonna see if I can find my phone and just look closer with the light, because I just don't want to short between these two. You know, like it kind of looks like I did that actually. All right, moment of truth. We're gonna check the continuity between the two legs of the capacitor to see if I added too much solder and shorted it. Yeah. Mark has a really nice multimeter that turns itself off.
Got to spend the big bucks for the good shit.
All right, so there's something happening there, but maybe it's just because it's going through the capacitor, but it's not beeping. What do you think, Mark?
Yeah, you'll probably get like some continuity because you will see that a little bit, but I think you'll be okay. And just to recap, the reason the yellow wire is there is because we kind of pulled the pad off of the DC jack, so we just did that to be extra certain it makes a connection.
I think it's okay. I added too much solder to the positive side of the capacitor, so it's a little bit close, but we'll know if it doesn't work when it doesn't turn on. If I wanted to be really cautious, I would undo it and redo it, but that would be just so much work, you know? All right, so should we just try it?
Let's plug it in.
Is this still plugged in? No. All right, so we got this power supply that we tested earlier, center negative. And we are going in. Now, if I can recall which
just kind of.
Assuming that this is okay. We have power.
Hey.
I don't really have a way of like doing anything with this right now though, because I think the buttons all like.
Oh, actually, you should press the buttons because they're attached with a ribbon cable.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, let me try to get this into a better position before I. That seems better. At least like the way that it turned on, the way that it confidently shone that red light brightly, makes me feel very secure about the work that was done so far today. Okay, so we're gonna.
Here, I'm just gonna kind of.
Yeah. All right, it's on. We have sound.
Crank that.
Yeah, let's.
Sounds way better.
Yeah, it does. I mean, I still don't really know how to like do everything with this, you know. So, I want to test the. All right, I'm hearing a little bit of like crackling from the capacitive.
Do you have to hold down a button to use that? Is it like a pitch bend or something?
Yeah, it like strums, but there's. Crank this up too.
Does anybody in the chat know how to play an Omnichord? How do we strum it? That was cool.
This is the memory function. I guess we only recorded it playing one key here. This is the.
It's like an auto harp.
Yeah.
Does anybody in the chat know how to play an
like
auto harp?
Now it's doing funny things again.
Is that a funny thing? This sounds like a cool thing.
Well, I just noticed that the power LED was flickering on and off. Oh, okay. So we have some. There's some potentiometer stuff going on. Like,
I bet we should clean those potentiometers.
yeah. Sorry that you can't see that. Alright, so we hear something. Oh. Okay, this is looking good. It's sounding a lot better. There's a lot of distortion in the audio. I don't know if that's like, although it could be just like we're used to hearing it with the back on, and it's like just, you know, there's some phase distortion happening with the speaker. Okay, this is like a hard stop button, I recall now.
Wait, what's disco?
I think that's disco.
Not enough instruments come with like pre-programmed beats anymore.
Yeah. Okay, so now I don't know what, like, I remember there's something with it where it's like you can switch between this and the other part, like switch between this and these. Because here, let's stop this now. Okay. Because the idea is that like you can change this like chord, and then you can change which chord is being.
Can you play two chords at once?
And but you can't play like all the chords, which is why it's called an Omnichord. All right, so I'm playing with the Omnichord now. It seems like it is mostly fixed. It's a little there's like there's a lot of crackling in the audio, and I have a feeling that that the potentiometers are. It seems like we fixed the power supply. It's good.
Actually,
Yeah.
I just saw this LED flicker on the screen. Let me just.
This doesn't look good. This power supply.
Yeah. See,
there's
like
multiple junctions here.
Look at the LED. See it?
Yeah. So wait, you're doing that just from
No, it's down here. It's this.
So that's still not good. That's the original thing that I sought to fix.
Or is it up here? It's not doing it anymore. Oh, there it is. It could be in this power supply. It could be like in this part.
Do you have a different jack here?
Absolutely.
Right.
Up above breadboards that are sticking out, there's a bin called
Sorted Connectors.
Sorted Connectors. Bye, Carl.
Oh, bye, Carl.
And there should be a male DC in there. Maybe.
Let's see.
I'll also look up here.
What is this kind?
How about that one? Either one. Sorry, that drawer sucks. Let me see that one you have. Oh, they're the same fucking thing.
Yeah, now I think that they might. Let's see.
See if it fits in the jack first. It should.
It does.
And then I would just cut this.
Is this just loose? Because look, it's like wiggling. Did I not put it? Why is it doing that? It's so.
Hang on.
Unless I didn't do it correctly. Oh, it's because the pad's loose. That's why.
Yeah, it's fine. So here's what I would do.
Oh, sorry. So somebody asked about what's wrong with it. So when I first turned this Omnichord on, well, initially, even before all of this, the power supply was like cutting in and out. So am I completely off camera right now? So I wanted to check out like the DC jack. I thought it was loose, which it is. But then today, in addition to the power supply cutting in and out, it was like doing this weird thing. If I turned the volume down, it would start to feedback. It was like actually playing like a square wave out of the speaker, which is not what it's supposed to do. And so then we opened it up, and there was like a bunch of. I then recalled that I had opened this up like a year and a half ago, and had some unsuccessful tinkering where I routed the power supply to like the battery pack and tried to just like power it in through the battery pack instead. And so then I just took all of that apart and then cleaned it up with a toothbrush and a rubbing alcohol. We rebuilt the little. We added a jumper wire to try to bypass this disconnected pad on the negative side of the DC jack, and now it's working a lot better. Like we just tested it out, played some Omnichord, but it seems like the potentiometers are really dirty, and those need to be cleaned because there's some like distortion and scratchiness in the signal. And Mark also just noticed that the original problem of the power jack kind of being loose is still an issue because that pad is not working well. So we're gonna now.
I honestly think it's in here. I think this has a loose connection.
Yeah.
Unplug this.
It's unplugged. So,
oh, hey, Erica.
So all right. So part one, we just get rid of this.
Garbage. Now we have to figure out which side is which.
Yeah.
I would strip it and we'll measure it.
And we have to remember that it's a center negative, so do it the opposite way that's labeled.
Yes. And actually, while you do that, can I have that just to make absolutely certain that the center is positive on this jack?
Well, thanks for checking it out. I hope that we fix it and that we can create music. All right, so Yeah, I have this.
All right, so let's see here. So, okay, one of these is ribbed, right? You have to plug this back in.
Yep. Would you like me to do that?
Yeah,
Ready?
Do it.
All right, we're now going to have some exposed wires in the studio.
Here we go. 12 volts, who cares? I'm going to guess that this is ground. Let's see. And I am right. So it's 12. That's 12 volts. So this is the negative.
Is there anything on it that indicates that? It looks like
Yes.
the side with writing.
It's ribbed. It's like, there's like, this wire is ribbed. This is typical, like, how you identify.
Oh, so there's like a little. I see. There's a tiny little. I don't know if you're going to be able to see that really, but there's like a tiny little ridge going across the edge of it there.
So that's the negative, which means because the Omnichord is reverse polarity, we're going to connect.
Where'd that go?
Here it is. We're going to connect the negative, and you're going to need a little tiny Phillips head.
And I'm connecting the negative here to the positive on. See, this thing has like a plus and minus on it, but we're connecting the minus of this to the plus of this and vice versa because it's centered negative.
Yeah. It's funny, most things in electronics are center positive except for music. And I learned this, and I think it's from guitar pedals, because of the way guitar pedals are built, and the way like DC jacks work in the circuit. They need to be able to disconnect the ground, not the positive. So they make it center negative to do it that way. This is a lot of electronics jargon, but like essentially, guitar pedals are the reason all of music has reverse polarity. I think we just lost 4 viewers from that explanation.
They're like, no, that's like the most valuable part, isn't it? The knowledge. Maybe it's just listening to an Omnichord. Fun.
Like the toothbrush scraping is over. I'm out of here.
Oh wait, so you're saying that so the ridge side, the rib is positive.
Yeah.
Is but that's the negative side of the wire, but I'm plugging in at the positive side of this.
Yeah, because we want this to be center negative.
Yeah. And we're gonna test it again after I connect it to make sure that I did it correctly.
I mean, really, that little connector should say tip and sleeve on it, not plus and minus, because that's super confusing.
Yeah.
Tip and sleeve.
All right, so now I want to just test this again. Make sure that I did things correctly.
You have to plug it in.
So center negative. So I have the center plugged in there, and all right, that's right. That's all good.
Center
negative.
Negative. Yep.
Okay.
Plug it in.
Okay. Oh, it's not. Yeah, it's still doing the same thing. It's clearly, it's definitely something going on with the connection itself. Like, see this?
I would just maybe hit those solder joints again on the DC jack.
Yeah.
And just like reflow them.
Can I add more solder? Yeah. Okay. That part doesn't do anything with it.
Also, okay, yeah, I just wanted to make sure that yellow is in the right place.
Let's see.
First.
Seems like it could be better. Do we hear something? Uh-oh. It's the same problem again.
It went away.
Yeah.
Back to the drawing board.
Yeah, it's like such like a. You know what that specifically sounds like? Is the sound that it makes when you lose in Tetris for Game Boy. It goes man. It sounds very sad. It's like a bleeding.
Can we try a new power supply? What is this outputting? 12 volts DC? Let me just. I'm curious. Wait, I just got more power supplies. Where do I put them?
But why is it doing it? So can I get it to do anything other than that right now? It's so weird.
Ugh. You want to point the camera at my power supply bin right here? Let's see what we got. 5 volts, no good. 9 volts. 12 volts, but only 350 milliamps. There's one.
12 volts?
Thanks, it says it right there.
What's the
Thanks, I think Carl, who labeled all these.
That's a really good idea. This one is 1 amp though. Now I don't know if this is a random power supply. I labeled it Omnichord at some point because it was the one that I had chosen to use as Omnichord. It does not say anything on it.
Yo, here's a 3 amp.
All right, well that's good.
Look at this guy. Oh yeah, give me those amps. Try that one.
Now, okay. This has a different kind of jack on it, so we might need to cut it. Let's see. Oh no, it's good. It's good.
It's good. So as far as amps go, we just need to pick one that's greater than the power supply you were using, which is 1, equal to or greater than. So that's why I didn't want to use this one, which is 350 milliamps, because this is like 1/3 of the power, and that's not good. All right, so we're gonna find out if this is a problem with the power supply.
Well, no,
Nothing at all.
nothing yet. I'm trying to get this out of the way.
Can I just measure this and make sure it actually is outputting anything?
Yeah, because it might be putting out more on it. Like, it might not be a good accurate power supply.
Let's see. Oh, also, it's center positive.
Oh, did I just kill this thing?
Perhaps. I guess I'll find out. Right. We could have a polarity switcher on this.
We'd have to. I think we have to cut the cable and put the tip on it, right? Or do you have one?
We can make this real quick.
Just like having 2 of those things.
Yeah, so let's see. Here's this thing. Where's the other thing?
The other thing was on.
I feel like I had this lying around because a polarity swap was something I needed often. Wait, is this it? Let's see. I think this is it.
Oh, you got it?
Yeah, because this is a thing that I needed a lot. So, let's see. This center. Boom.
Okay.
Center positive. There you go.
So this is now center negative?
Yes.
Okay. Now we're back into this zone. We have some.
Full distilled zone.
Yeah.
How's that knob doing? What is that knob?
That's the volume.
What's the? Is it just a
I mean,
pot?
it looks nasty. Like if we just take this, I'll take this out.
We just replace that pot.
All right, let's take a look. Oops. Can't just confidently stand up here. Just trying to see if there's an easy way for me to. Oh, this. Yeah, there isn't really like a great way to totally flip this over here, but I can do that. But yeah, like, okay, just looking at this, it's, whoops.
Oh boy, look at those pots.
Yeah, it's nasty. I think that this had to have gotten some kind of spill or something at some point, right? But maybe not. Maybe they're just. But this is the problem right here.
Hmm.
So.
We'll just zoom in here and get a better look at it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's. Oh, I'm looking at the camera. That's the pot.
You can see it's got stuff on it. I don't know what that. Is that just like dirt falling into here, or over time, or I mean, there's like stuff here that suggests that this stuff might be this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a common thing.
So I'm just gonna take this and I'm gonna take a Q-tip and just see what comes up here.
Want me to get some WD-40? Maybe we could try and get it inside the pot.
Yeah, this is like really slimy. Look at that.
Let me get WD-40. I think this is probably.
So we have some nasty, dirty potentiometers here. I really hope that I don't have to replace them because. Oh, you know what's really great? I take it back. What I was going to say. It's really great that the circuit board actually says the values of the potentiometers here. So I don't know if you can see that, but it just says like this one is 50K. We have 50K. This one's 50K. This is 2K. Just kind of a funny value. And then this one's covered by wire right now. But if we needed to, it wouldn't be that bad to replace them then. Just realizing that the circuit board labels what the values are. So this is a 50K pot.
Cool. There you go. Magic.
All right.
Magic juice.
All right. Now I'm going to spray the magic juice. I'm just going to do the other ones while I'm at it too. Now, you think this will really like get in there? Oh, I can feel it actually. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so as the proprietor of an arcade bar, this is the single most useful thing because whenever somebody spills a beer in arcade buttons, this WD-40, like, you can get it into the electrical connection and it just penetrates and breaks up all of this, like, sticky substance that gets into electronics. And so, yeah, I have like 7 cans of WD-40 around this place just in case we need them.
I'm just going through and I'm just going to get all the other ones too while we're at it. Because they don't look good. Maybe get in there with a Q-tip too to try to get some of the stuff that's like around. These instruments have become pretty popular. I'm not sure exactly like what aside from it being like a really interesting looking object, and you know maybe people are just like posting images of them and gaining interest. It's also easy to play and make cool sounds with. But there's got to be somebody who like recently in the past few years played one or maybe made it like popular because I think they've become very collectible. So if anybody who's listening or watching knows who you associate with popularizing or repopularizing the Omnichord, please let me know, because that's something I've been wondering about. Oh, and there's a question in the chat. If you had to make a drink called WD-40, what would be in it?
What would be in it? I feel like it has to be vodka-based. I don't know why. That's just my inclination. I don't know. Should I try and match the color? It's brown. I don't think a brown drink is a very appetizing thing.
We're talking about whiskey.
Water, dirt, and 40 ice cubes. Oh yeah, whiskey. Maybe like a wild turkey on the rocks.
I don't know what this thing is. This looks like a capacitor. There's a funny little component here that looks like a capacitor that I don't really know what it is. So I'm just going through and spraying these and twisting it around a little bit.
Probably spray those buttons too.
Yeah. This button.
That WD-40 reminds me of King of the Hill always.
It's also these little. There's a bunch of trim pots on this that I don't want to mess with. You know, like. But I wonder what they do. Might be cool.
From my days at Death by Audio, I think they usually put trim pots in series with the pots on the surface, so that if you, like, they'll set them to the recommended, span, but if you want to get in there and get real crazy, you can
That's
max them
cool.
out.
So maybe I could, like, make the tempo really fast or really slow or something like that.
Yeah, potentially.
That's where it is. It's on the percussion section.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So I've been spraying these on the top. Do you think I should try to go in from the side too? Because I know they have those like little slots.
Oh,
I think it's fine.
it's hard to know. If it still feels like there's stuff in there, maybe
Feel this one.
it.
This one in particular has like a. But maybe it's just all the WD-40.
Oh my god, yeah. I mean, there's like an audible scrape. I mean, yeah, I would try and hit that one again. If it feels smooth, it's probably fine.
Yeah.
But at a certain point, it's like you can only get in there so much without totally replacing it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There's like sand in the potentiometer. Ooh, this one's nasty and sandy too.
It's just the amount of sand is the resistance.
Yeah. Uh-oh, what did I just lose?
Uh-oh. Let's see.
Something fell off of the circuit board here.
Let's see. Move this foot. I'm gonna just see if I can find it on the floor. That's not gonna be like. It might just be like a piece of solder.
Yeah.
Like that sounded
okay.
like it.
All right.
Piece of solder.
All right. Now the original offending potentiometer here. So these are feeling pretty gross, I would say. They're not feeling great. They're just want to get this power on. The thing with WD-40 is the smell, which is kind of nice, but then it's like it doesn't go away. It really lingers. I don't know what the smell is made with. And it's like the ingredients to this stuff is totally secret too. That's like one of the big things. It's like in a vault. up. WD-40 thing. I have an old Volvo 240 station wagon, and one of the issues that I get with it is that if it rains, there's like I guess it's a design flaw really, but it's like the distributor cap on the car, like the part that the spark goes into the distributor, and then it like circulate. There's a rotor inside that circulates which spark plug is getting the spark from the coil, and it like if it rains, water gets inside the distributor cap, and so it stops the car from starting.
Oh, weird.
So then I learned that you just have to spray the distributor cap with WD-40 before you're going to start the car.
I mean, it's really amazing to me how many problems I've been able to solve with a can of WD-40 and a can of compressed air.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's see. Now I doused one side of the circuit board with rubbing alcohol and doused the other side with WD-40, and we tried out a couple of different power supplies. So let's see. This turns on.
Nope. Sorry. There we go.
Okay. Sounds a little bit better, right?
A little distortion, but it's been worse, right?
Alright, well, I don't know. Is it a bug? Is it a feature? I don't know. It's at least tonal now. There's like some. You have like taps with it.
Play the.
It's so annoying, man. What's going on? Okay, and this is still happening. We're getting like. I want to figure out how to get these back on. Now I hear that if I touch right here, it makes a sound.
Is it a bug? Is it a feature? This reminds me of my SK1 days. Of just being like, lay hands on the circuit board.
Yeah, if I touch the circuit board, it makes a sound. If I touch this part of the circuit board, I make a sound.
Do the chords work?
That's very distorted.
Maybe reflow the potentiometer?
Keyboard chords. And then it's so tricky to.
Are you getting anything from the buttons?
Yeah, they're doing this.
But aren't they supposed to play? No, they don't play chords.
I think that they only do it when this is on, and then this section isn't doing anything right now.
Could the distortion be the
go.
speaker itself? I mean, your treble is like gone. It's just bass.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah. Do you want to try and plug it into an amp?
I just feel like something. What do these do? You know? Who's to say?
Where are those speakers? Where's the speaker plugged into?
The speaker is plugged into. Something is clearly not connecting all the way, you know?
Is it on here? Like
You mean like
the output side? So that's there. I wonder, so like, okay, so this is the speaker, and this is plugged in. Do you want to unplug this?
Yeah. So that's weird that that's like...
This is your audio out, I imagine?
Yeah.
Let's try plugging it in.
Do you think maybe it's just the amp circuit in this is messed up?
Could be.
Yeah.
I have an amp over here. It's not going to be that much better, but we can try it.
Yeah, it's more just if there's like, if something about the speaker amplification circuit that's on board here is messed up.
Yeah. Come here. All right, so this isn't terribly long, but we just
This thing. Oh yeah, this thing.
this thing. All right, we're bypassed, so you can plug that straight in. It could be that amp too.
Well, the power is, the light's turning on and off here still.
Turn the volume up a little bit.
Like it just faded away for unknown reasons. What do you think happened to this thing? It's clearly not working as intended.
I mean, there's a lot of reasons. And probably is it 12 volts to work? Yeah.
Well, yeah, DC 12 volts, center negative. Well, whoops. Damn it. We've lost all the screws. I thought these were all in here. Thank you very much.
There's only 2 of them.
Oh, cool. Okay. Well, this jack in itself is like really scratchy too. I think every single component on this seems like it's like, yeah, it's just like this to me seems like it was in somebody's like garage for 25 years and was just like getting covered in, you know, like fumes and dirt and dust and isn't doing anything, you know. Just listen to that. That's the audio out jack. Like I could now try to
like touch that with.
Yeah, I mean, like, go in there with the Q-tip and see if there's dirt inside of the... No, that seems okay. That seems alright. Now we need nothing. Okay, I unplugged it. you know, like if all of this, if this is all something sticky that's on there, who knows?
Polarity switch.
Yeah, it's like the sounds good, right? Now it seems to be working correctly, somewhat. It would help if I knew a little bit better how to like switch between.
I mean,
That seems better.
it's only distorted when you crank it all the way. And it could be that you're just blowing past that amps limits, you know?
This pot.
Yep. I mean, you know, I think it's not uncommon to have to replace all the pots, you know, on something like this.
Mm-hmm.
But I saw the number of pins on those. Does not look like a fun time.
On the pots?
Yeah.
There's not just 3?
No.
Oh no!
No, there's like 20. I was like, whoa, those pots are wild.
Seems like the I think that the big issue one seems to be this one, the keyboard chords.
Mm.
Oh, you know what else is happening too is that we're like, I think I need to maybe like control it from here because they have 2 things on them. Yeah. Yeah, I mean that. All right. It's pretty complicated because it's like these things are all coming from different parts of the circuit. You know, they're like independently controlled elements on this. It's really funny. I'm just trying to really see if there's. Now the thing that I don't remember how to do on this is how to like switch back to the mode where you're like controlling this, the harp.
Your power LED's out, but you're still getting sound.
Yeah, I don't really. It's so funny. Now they're gonna kick right back in. No. Oh yeah, there we go. Yeah, it's like the power light is flickering on and off there.
I wonder if that LEDs just have a bad connector, and we keep thinking it's the actual power, but it's just the LED.
Yeah, it could be.
Give me 1 second to run it.
Oh, hit the solder in the LED again. That's the part of the show where I do soldering while it's plugged into power. This is like jumper wire there. I have no idea why that's there. If I just like reflow this. No, it's just gotta be that this potentiometer right here. You know? And this part, I don't remember how you switch over to this, so if anybody knows how to do that, let me know. So it's like auto, it's a chord only. I remember there was something here about like voice 1 and voice 2. Maybe the sustain is all the way up or something. Yeah. I mean, I don't see what else I could do with this other than replacing that. It doesn't. So what Mark's pointing out before is that these potentiometers here have like, it's like, because they have two levels, there's a part that you turn on the outside there. I don't know if you can see this at all. Let's see. Yeah, so there's this outer ring. Thank you, checkerboard night. Good night. There's this outer ring on the potentiometer, and then there's the inner shaft. And so because there's two controls on it, there's 6 pins on there, I think. Probably like shorting out the board with this thing too, I just realized. I want to like swing this around maybe. Oh, you know what else I just realized? I just ripped something. Let's see if I can fix this. I just unseated this ribbon cable that's over here too. There's like this ancient ribbon cable. I'm gonna unplug this and see if I can get that back in, and then that's probably why the I'm actually feeling a little motivated to just reassemble this for now, because it's been a good couple hours here. I want to see if I can get this to be back into enough of a state where it can be used somewhat. This is like extremely brittle. So I'm just gonna put this back together. It at least reliably is turning on now, which is a big step up from how it was before. What's that? There was somebody outside trying to. That's funny.
You open? You're like, you gotta talk to Andrew Cuomo about that.
I just realized I accidentally ripped out this ribbon cable from its.
Oh no.
So I think that.
Bye, checkerboard night. See you at the next one.
Like, do you think? I wonder if I. It doesn't look like I. It looks like it was just pulled out. Like I could get it back in.
Oh yeah, just push it back in.
Yeah.
It's a press fit connector.
Maybe I'm gonna grab some spare WD-40 from over here and clean it off while I have a chance.
Reed recommended Travis Thatcher.
For fixing Omnichords, or an Omnichord artist.
He just does restorations.
Oh. Whoops. Okay. All right. We're being chill, patient. There's a really awkward chair here for this. Okay. We're going to attempt. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna remount the I'm gonna put the screws back in so that it's not sliding around on me, and then I'll attempt to do that. I'm going to clean up this area a little bit. Things are starting to fly around a little bit. And I'm going to wisely remember to reattach the speaker. Which I think was all the way like on the other side of this, right?
Yeah, it was right.
We remember. Oh, this only. That doesn't like go all the way in. It just sits there, huh?
Maybe it's fiber.
Yeah, it looks like. That's fine. These are all exactly the same.
Also, I think your power supply is probably fine.
Yeah.
We don't have to use this like Frankenstein thing.
Mm-hmm. But I do have to put the
Oh yeah, you can keep
the tip back on.
that jack.
I think we all learned something today. Something about Omnichords.
Old electronics.
Something about old electronics. And I think most importantly, we learned how to learn.
Reed, I have your Kickstarter reward that got returned from Dubai. It's at Wonderville. Along with all the other ones that never got picked up.
Now, I wonder, you know how sometimes it'll be like, I guess it's probably not the case, but sometimes like some of the mounting points on here will be for when the case goes back on, you know?
Yeah.
I don't think that doesn't look like the case
We're starting to skip again. I wonder why this happens. Like Twitch servers or something. Did I tell you, like, the first time I did this, I'm doing Wonderville Workbench, and then, like, everything crashed. And I was like, what happened? And then I went to Twitter, and the Twitch servers had crashed.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there was a few days of pretty major outages. Like, Slack was down for a big part of the day. Twitch went down.
It's because the Trump supporters are bombing the AWS server farms.
Oh, really?
I mean, maybe. Probably not.
I just don't know about these. Like, it's so... These look so grody. But we're done with that part now. And I will now attempt to reseat this ribbon cable and get back to the level of functionality we were at before we even started.
What's weird is, like, I'm not getting any dropped frames. I wonder if this is just on my end.
Oh, you mean like us viewing it?
Yeah. Let's stream it.
Any advice for getting this back in?
I think you just gotta, like, firmly press it in.
Using lubrication.
Sometimes there's, like, yeah, I don't think you have it, but some of them have, like, something that lifts up and presses back down. I don't think.
Okay, that helped. The WD-40 made all the difference. Well, I guess we're gonna have to schedule the MX1 repair session for another day. I think that is going to be easier, because that has like less comprehensive problems, at least at this time, prior to it being disassembled. But it, yeah, that one I'm talking about. This is a Videonics MX1. Reed, I know that you have. I can hold it up this camera. Some of this stuff. And it's just got another loose DC jack. Though the center pin on this, see, this is another tricky one because the center pin on this is really thick. See that? On the DC jack.
Yeah.
So I'm sure it doesn't need to be.
Oh, there's a screw under your right shoe. Okay. And there's another one.
Yeah, I'm sure it doesn't need to be that thick, right? So I could just swap out the jack and then have the switch
Switch the
change
power
the
supply.
tip,
Yeah. But fine, we're doing this. I'm doing this maybe 2 or 3 times a week, because why not? There's nothing else going on at the bar.
I won't be able to come back to do another one next week, but the week after I can. Next week I'm going up to Alfred to the Institute for Electronic Art.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I have an art residency. It was originally supposed to be in September, but it got postponed because of the pandemic. And they were able to reschedule it for now, so I'm going to go up there. And last time I was there, I worked on some video synthesizer recordings. They have this really cool, like, 1970s video synth called the Sandine Image Processor, and the studio there is like crosses generations of technology, so they have that connected with like a contemporary HD mixer with scalars and things like that, so you can do really interesting stuff.
Nice.
Yeah, but I want to take the recordings that I made last time and then set them up in Touch Designer for maybe like an immersive thing, VR thing, or like a. They have a cool room there that's running on Eric South there, who's a professor there, set it up so that it's an immersive gallery that runs on Touch Designer. They have 3 projectors, and it's like one image across 3 projectors.
Oh, cool.
And you can just load different Touch Designer sketches on there. And I'm putting the screws back in, but I haven't tried turning it on, so we'll see. If I may be tempted to get back into Omnichord world the next time I do this, because I was kind of interested in it. Seems like it should be. There's 6 pins on the potentiometers, and I think that was like this one right here is like the major problem area. I have some screws left over. That's good. I think that I didn't get all of these, so I have to like check. Alright, the screws that I have left over are on the inside, so that's going to be next time is opening this back up and...
Fine. You never need all the screws.
Yeah, you know. Oh yeah, and I have to put this back together. So we're doing this again. I'm putting the power jack back on this. Power supply.
Here, let me put this one away. Thanks, Polarity Swapper.
So the negative, positive.
So got this jack with a really long, like, wire attached to it.
So a little bit of a sharp tip. That's it.
Here, I'll put that. I'll get rid of this.
Alright. So we're not anywhere better off than we were at the beginning. But, you know, fine with that.
Real drony. Which I isn't bad.
It still works-ish.
Hey.
Put these back in.
I wonder if it was the DC jack. Like, I wonder if we identified the wrong thing, you know?
I think that it's this volume knob that's really the issue here. Or yeah, the keyboard. This thing.
Yeah.
It's making it crazy.
I bet it works better with an amp. I mean, the delay is cool.
Yeah, it's supposed to do that. But I never remember how you get back from this mode to the other mode. Like the you know, like getting back from this like harp mode to the like that. Yeah, that's so weird that it's like something like what would that mean? Just to think about the logic of that for a second, when you turn the volume down, it's dumping it to ground, right?
Mm-hmm.
So is there something weird happening with the ground where there's a feedback loop in the ground that's coming back into the volume, right?
Or somewhere there's a ground that's not connected to ground,
Yeah,
and it's like creating a differential voltage.
yeah,
Like there's 2 points in the circuit that should be ground, but they're actually not.
hmm
So like half the Omnichord is grounded in one place and the other half is in another place. I mean, to me, it sounds like it's dirty pots.
yeah. Now that it's working a lot better. The sustain's working.
That's cool.
These are cool knobs though. They're like two level knobs.
Oh, you press one on and another one goes on top.
Yeah. All right. Good time was had by all. What can I say? Oh, this one goes in here. Does it? Here. Whoops. Oh, I see. Yeah, it's these two. Because what it is that there's two voices. There's this, and then these are supposed to make different chords. You know. That.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's those pots. I mean, those look like they're a little tricky to replace too. Huh? They're like 6-pin pots with 2 layers that have to be the exact right diameter to fit the.
I mean, I just did this for the Switch controller, and I was just like, replacement joystick Switch Pro controller. You'd probably do the same thing for the Omnichord, or it's like on eBay or something, where it's like replacement Omnichord pot.
Yeah.
And get the exact thing, because I'm sure there are people fixing this. Although this is like 30 years older than the controller.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like. You want to try it?
Yeah. I've not ever played this.
The idea is that it's a.
Blues. You know what?
What's up?
Stop this.
So to turn off the beat?
Yeah.
So to do that, I think you just have to turn the volume down there.
Really?
I think so. This is what was confusing me. Yeah.
Trying to think if I know.
Bye, Reed.
Bye, Reed. All right. Kill the stream.
All right.
Bye. This was fun.
Very good. Oh, wait, where am I?